Welcome back to the channel. So I get lots of questions about what you can and cannot do, or should and should not do whilst you're driving, and also lots of questions and potentially myths around stopping you for speeding and things like that. So I thought I would address a few of those random questions in this video. So many people ask whether you're allowed to drive with flip-flops or high heels on or something like that, anything other than ordinary shoes. Now, there's no specific law that says you cannot drive in these shoes or you cannot drive bare feet, for example. However, if you are found to be driving bare feet or with high heels or with flip-flops, and this is determined to be one of the leading causes of a collision, then clearly this is going to be an important factor in deciding your liability for the collision. So my suggestion is wear normal shoes. Next, people have asked whether you should be eating or drinking whilst you're driving. Now, again, there isn't a specific law that says you must not eat whilst you're driving. But again, the same rule is that you should have proper control over the vehicle at all times. So if you are eating something that prevents you from having control of the vehicle, again, that's going to lead to your responsibility. But much like it isn't illegal to smoke whilst you're driving a car, unless there's anyone under the age of 18, of course. But yet again, you have to have full and complete control over the vehicle. Likewise, people ask whether you're allowed to vape in the car and whether the same laws about smoking apply to vaping, because many of you will know by now that you are not allowed to smoke in a vehicle if there are people in the vehicle under the age of 18. Although the same law doesn't quite apply in the same way to vaping in a vehicle as smoking in a vehicle, smoking being illegal if there's someone under the age of 18, vaping is not strictly illegal for the same reason. However, if you are driving and vaping in the car and there are large fumes of vapor in the car that are going to obscure your view, then again, this is going to lead to you driving without having full control of the vehicle and awareness of what's going on around you. Because if it obstructs your view ahead, clearly this is dangerous. I hope that goes without saying. And as a caveat to all of that, if the only person in the car is 17 years old and they are the one smoking, then they are exempt from this law as well. Other questions that have popped up in the comments include whether police or traffic enforcement officers must be visible when setting up a speed trap to catch motorists speeding. And the simple answer is no. There is no strict requirement that they must be visible at all times. However, the general practice is to make themselves visible, because that in itself acts as a deterrent, bringing awareness to the fact that there are sometimes speed traps along a certain road. But there's no strict requirement that they must be visible at all times. Another question, or rather a myth to do with speed traps, is whether they can only catch you in going in one direction. And actually that's not true either. The speed trap can catch you in either direction, and they will note the speed that you are doing and will note your registration plate. One of the most common misunderstandings about speeding is the 10% plus 1 or 10% plus 2 rule. There is no such rule, law, or regulation that is an official law or regulation. It is simply guidance that is adopted by the various police services around the country. So if you do find that you are relying on this leeway, you should look up the guidance in your local area, because it may differ widely across the country. Another question relating to speeding is whether you can get zapped more than once on the same journey. Now, most police forces will adopt the approach that if you're caught within 15 to 20 minutes of each speed trap, it will be considered as one offence. Although if it's a little bit more than that, or a lot more than that, then it's going to be more than one offence, thus 2 lots of 3 points on your licence. And if you're at 9 points, then obviously even 3 more points is going to tot you up to 12, and then you'll be going to court for an obligatory totting ban. This is where the court is obliged to ban you for a minimum period of 6 months because you've acquired 12 points within 3 years, unless you can show exceptional hardship. The same applies when we're talking about tyres. If you have 1 bald tyre, this is going to attract 3 penalty points. If you have 4 bald tyres, maths will tell you you could potentially receive a driving ban for 4 bald tyres on your vehicle. Although depending on the force, depending on your attitude, and depending on the court's approach, if you are sent to court, you may escape a ban depending on your circumstances. So please do keep these questions coming, and I will come back and answer them in future videos. Remember to subscribe, and thanks for watching.